You are listening to the Bob Pritchard Radio Show. To connect with Bob, please send an email to bob@bobpritchard.com. That's bob@bobpritchard.com. Now, back to the show.
Welcome back to the Bob Pritchard Radio Show, and welcome to this segment of the show where we interview successful entrepreneurs from all over the world. We also talk to other specialists, people that play a role in solving the issues faced by entrepreneurs along their way to success. The reality is, the latest figures show that 98% of all startups fail. So what we want to do is talk to the 2% that succeed, so we can give you some clues about mistakes you don't want to make along the way. We talk about things that hopefully can help us all become more successful. In these discussions, we try to find out what it is that these successful people do, what they do that less successful people don't do, and what makes them tick. What is it that drives them? What is it that gives them that edge? So then we can learn from the things that make them successful, and we can learn how to address the challenges that we all face when we are building a business. My guest today is Kent Christensen, who's the CEO and founder of MessengerBank, which I believe is the first cryptocurrency that's backed by a bank. And I am speaking to Kent right across the world. I think he's in Norway, but we can talk about that in a second. And he's spent the last 15 years working with Club World Connect. He contributes with strategic planning and overview to cryptocurrency and banking industry. Kent has over 30 years experience in finance and banking, which he uses to steer MessengerBank. Kent's always believed that blockchain technology has the potential to disrupt the world economy. Well, we know that. We've listened in the last few weeks. We've heard about some of the incredible things that blockchain is enabling to happen. And it's really starting to escalate. When we started talking about blockchain maybe 5 or 6 years ago, it was a fledgling somewhere in the distant future, maybe technology. Now it is being adopted by banks and stock exchanges and stockbrokers and real estate companies and charity organisations right across the world. So Kent wants to empower people to exchange value globally, instantly and at the lowest possible cost. And we all know that blockchain does exactly that. And I think the other point is it's transparent. That's one of the great things about blockchain, is that it is totally transparent. And with this vision in mind, Kent's introducing a completely new blockchain banking experience. His team at Messenger come from a background of banking, finance and fintech. They're united in their passion to revolutionise the way people use money. And most of the Messenger team have lived or worked across many different countries, speak multiple languages, and have a very successful track record working at top global companies. So that's the background to it. Hi Kent, welcome to the Bob Pritchard Radio Show on Voice America Business Channel. You are being heard right around the world.
Hello sir, thank you for having me.
Where are you?
I am actually in Spain. I am from Denmark, but I am located in Spain this week. And I'm going to Malta next week, which is like the hottest blockchain island in the world right now. I'm going to meet the government and the national bank and everybody else. We want to set up head offices there.
Right.
One of the reasons why I succeed is really simple. I work hard. When you come to my office in the morning at 5 o'clock, there's light in the office.
Right.
When you are going out to dance at night or for dinner at 10 o'clock, there's light in the office. So that's one of the reasons that you succeed, is being determined And it's not work, because it's only work if you want to be somewhere else.
Yeah, that's right.
So if you love what you do, it's not really that difficult. We started Club World Connect, as you said in the beginning, many, many years ago, because we were in the construction business and finances, and all the immigrants had a hard time sending money home with Western Union. Sure. And I was like, I felt sorry for them.
And it's expensive.
They spend like $100.
Yeah, it's
They spend $100. They spend like 10% of their salary to send money home to the people in Colombia, Venezuela, Brazil, Russia, Cuba, wherever it was, China. So we started a very simple system where you used your old Nokia mobile phone with an SMS system. You got a card, your mother got a card, your sister got a card, or your father, or whomever, or your wife, so that when you got your salary, we put that on your card, and you send a text. Please put on my sister's card, my mom's card, my father's card, $100, $200, pay my rent, and keep the rest for me. Right. And that was an amazing success. It went from our corporation to the next corporation to the next corporation, and boom, we issued 12 million cards. People was using it in 63 countries. Everybody went crazy. And then a bank in America was told, maybe from, let's say, Western Union, but it's not important, one of the big remittance companies, yep. The bank was told, go buy that. We don't need that. That's too simple. And they came to me, and we negotiated and gave me a check on $863 million.
Right.
And I decided to not work for 5 years, because that's what I signed. These Americans, they have like a 700-page contract. And in the meantime, I sold this in 2009.
Right.
And then in the meantime, crypto started to become, more and more known and things like that. And I started to get interested in blockchain. I mean, really, really interested. So I started to study. I had all the time in the world. You cannot play golf from 6 in the morning to 10 at night. So I started to study blockchain and putting a team together. And when it was the time for me to start to work again, now we're talking 2015, I gave it another 7 months just to be on the safe side, because these Americans can beat you with a lawsuit in 5 minutes.
Yep. And
so then we started slowly to build what we call MessengerBank today. Why is it MessengerBank? Because it's a messenger. We send coins from A to B. Right. We use the utility coin as an Uber taxi.
Right.
It's just a message. So it's not SWIFT, it's not SEPA, it's not all these fancy things that the banks are using. We just send the coins from one wallet to another wallet, and then this wallet will exchange the coins for any fiat currency in their country, and they have the money.
Right.
They can do that with our debit card that we can issue to them, or we can add the money on their bank accounts. If they have put that info into the system, then we can just ship the money right to the bank account. That will take like 2 hours or 4 hours.
Right.
And it costs practically nothing. It costs like, we're talking less than 0.01%.
Right. That's great.
So, yeah, it's good. So that's we are opening a big exchange later. We have some security issues, and we don't want to have a lot of trouble like Binance and Coinbase and that. So we spend a little bit more time on our stuff. We try to make it really solid.
Right.
And when we have the exchange up and running, then we will add 100 cryptocurrencies so that people can use any cryptocurrency they want, not only our token. We are not afraid of the market. We are not afraid of competition. We want to help anybody. There's room for everybody. If we have to make bank accounts and cards for 2.3 billion unbankables, I would like another 10 or 20 or 30 companies to help me.
Well, it's certainly
no problem.
It's certainly a space where there's getting a lot more competition in that in the unbanked section of the market. Here we've got companies like Ooh La La who are setting up bank accounts and wallets for the underbanked. And just in the United States alone, the Hispanic market, unbanked people, no bank accounts, no credit cards, it's $2.3 trillion. I mean, it is a massive market. That's just in the US, forgetting the rest of the world. And 2.3 trillion is a lot of hooch. Now,
that is.
You're the first crypto.
Also,
sorry. Go
also, on. MessengerBank. We are the first real cryptocurrency blockchain bank, and MessengerBank's mission is to bridge the gap between digital and fiat currencies by providing a decentralized, blockchain-enabled mobile banking solution that is easy to use, accessible, non-discriminatory, and unlike many blockchain services, MessengerBank enabled to mass adoption of cryptocurrencies. And that's why we are not afraid of. Everybody is invited to come and work with us. I say that everywhere I speak around the world. The first thing I say, look, blockchain and cryptocurrencies, there is no experts. We are all in grade 1. We are all in kindergarten.
Yep.
And I said that last year in Dubai, and I said to them, come and play with me in the sandbox.
Right.
You know, because that's what it is. We all have to help one another. If we want to be successful, don't be protective with your own company. Go out, spread it out. Tell everybody what you do. Let them copy and paste you. No problem. Because the way to go to mass is that it comes from all directions at the same time.
I agree. And it's such a massive market. You know, I know a lot of companies now that are paying international bills with crypto, where, you know, a year ago or 2 years ago, they would have gone through all the bullshit that the banks make you go through to wire fiat. And now they just use crypto, and it works out really well. At the moment, of course, you can't trace it, so that's a good start. Let
me tell you a little story about that. The way I see the cryptocurrencies and the blockchain is like 3,000 years ago, they started the Silk Road. Remember that?
I remember.
On the Silk Road, they invited, in the end, Christians and Muslims and Jews and Asians and Buddhists. Everybody was trading on the Silk Road.
Yep.
And then you had the pirates. The pirates were there too.
Yep.
In cryptocurrencies, you have, but it's not a very big amount. It's not really a big percentage. But in reality, of course, do you think a drug dealer is stupid? Of course he will transfer his 2 million dirty money or a weapons deal or whatever. They will transfer or try to transfer that cross-border and get the money away. Absolutely.
Yeah.
But with MessengerBank, we do KYC, AML. I mean, we are bank. We have the experience, right? We also have the experience from when we had the Club World Connect. So there's no way that you can get through our filters. There's no way you can pretend to be a good guy and then be a bad guy, because we can see it. There will be flag raised, and I know that blockchain is decentralized, and we have to keep it that way. It's a non-trust system, which is really great. But if we see somebody that attempts that, we block their IP address, we take their email and their phone numbers, and in our database, it's put in as a blacklist, and anybody who access that database, let's say some government departments,
right,
they can use it if they want. I mean, it's a free world, right?
Yeah,
we're not like reporting we don't report anybody in principle, but on the other hand, we don't protect anybody in principle.
Right. So I understand you're the first cryptocurrency that's backed by a bank. First of all, what does that mean in reality, and how did it come about?
Well, it came about because of Club World Connect, the way that we did the debit cards and the SMS and everything else. So MessengerBank the coin itself is not backed by anything except the ecosystem that is created around it.
Yep.
So there is no difference between a Bitcoin, a MessengerBank coin, an Ethereum coin, a Ripple coin. A Ripple is a good competitor. We are just 20 times faster than any one of them. We are 20 times faster than Visa. We are 20 times faster than Ripple. And we are proud of that. We are really proud of that. But our coin as such is not backed by anything than the ecosystem.
Right.
In the ecosystem, anytime we sell some coins, we put 50% into the Reserve Bank to protect our coin. Well, that's because we think like bankers, right? We don't want our clients to cry. So we try to keep the coin as stable as possible at any given time, because for us, it's not a matter of getting volatility in the coin and the price. No, for us, it's a matter of having a very stable product that the user know next month, I need 1,000 coins, I have to do this, this, and that, or I need 300 coins, or whatever you need. So our purpose and why we are doing all this basically for free is that this is our way to get all our coins distributed. There's 10 billion of them. So we will create a market cap in 2-3 years from now on 250 billion. That's the business plan. So we will be extremely successful. And everybody is happy. I guess that's not a bad deal.
No, that's good.
So,
go on.
So the funds in that bank, because the market cap is so big and because we keep 50% in the Reserve Bank and the rest is development and profits and whatever it is.
Yep.
Because of that, the company will be very, very strong for the next generation or two. It's not a matter of me taking all that money out and putting it in my own private little bank somewhere. No, it's not about that. It's about helping. Let's say we can do 200 million of the 2.3 billion people without a bank account, and some other people around the world who wants to use our mobile payment system and anything else coming up. If we can have 200 million users and we can get a market cap on 250 billion, that's my mission. And when I have that, if I got, with the whole group behind me, if we got 10% of that money out, we are more than happy. The rest will be used for very generous projects around the world and to keep the coin very liquid. Right. Because it's about liquidity on the exchanges.
Yep.
To survive in the crypto market, 2,700 coins or 2,500 coins, and 98% of them is, I don't know what some of these other colleagues of mine are calling them, but in German it's a Scheiße.
Yes.
And we don't want that. We want to have a liquid coin. We want to have not the highest traded coin in the world. Let Bitcoin take that role. No problem. Let Ethereum be the coin that can create all these little ECR20 coins and anything else. You know, everybody has their own business plan. The only thing we want is to help unbankable through blockchain, not so much through coins, through blockchain.
Right.
And through cards and bank accounts, real banking, because you need to bridge the gap between digital and fiat currencies. That's the whole secret. Nobody in the crypto business really thought about it that way. We did, and we came a long way. We are the fastest today, and we are not so known because we spend all our resources on building the thing, not going out in market. We never made an ICO. We never did any of all that.
Right.
We just want to go out nice and quietly and start our business and help people.
How long do you think fiat currency is going to be the predominant way that we exchange money or in the world? Do you think that fiat's here forever, or I'm one of those people that believe it's got a very short life from here, maybe 10 years. What do you think?
No, I don't believe that. No, I believe that there's so many conservative people And I believe that the fiat currencies have a reason to stay here also. I think that we will coexist. And I think in 20 years from now, the fiat currency will be 30-40%, and the cryptocurrencies will be 60%, which is like digital payments. Or a little bit like if you look at the internet today, where is people using their credit cards and debit cards? Let's say that the way that you use debit cards and credit cards today online contra shops physical, POS, right?
Yep.
So these numbers will always more or less be the same. A little bit in the advantage of the cryptocurrencies, but in the end of the day, I'm a banker, and I see things in a very real perspective. I know a lot of my colleagues, they are like really into crypto, and everything is crypto, and they hate fiat, and they come with all kind of explanations that a national bank, they do it for their own benefit, blah, blah, blah. But in reality, it's not really like that. It is a mission to bridge the gap between digital and fiat currencies. I cannot say that so many times because it's a reality. The reality is that we need real cash. We need cryptocurrencies and we need real cash.
People, though, hate banks. I know it might not be worldwide, but I know in Australia, people hate banks. In America, people hate banks. And people object to I take $100,000 down in my bank, and they say, we'll put it in the bank and we'll give you 0.5% interest on it. So I go home and the next day I want to buy a car. So I go down to the bank and I say, hey, I want to borrow some of that 100 grand I just gave you. And they say, sure, we'll lend it back to you at 8%. People are fed up with that. And because crypto's got such a small transaction cost, surely people are sooner or later going to say, fuck the banks. We're not going to deal with the banks. And the banks can't compete. Let's talk about lending. They can't compete with the fintech lenders. Just can't. They can't compete with the costs that crypto can provide. So how are they going to survive when people hate them for a start and they're bloody expensive as hell for a second?
I agree with you. 100%. You're 100% right. But think it in a little bit different way. The people you're talking about, they are all independent. They have their own job and everything is fine. 100% they will adopt to the cheap solution, the fast solution. They will adopt to, let's say in 5 years' time, I should change my MessengerBank to just Messenger. Yes, take the bank name out of it.
Yep.
But what I'm trying to say is all these guys, all the independents and all of these guys will do it exactly like you say. I cannot agree more. But government employees, unemployed, people on welfare, whatever you call it, pensions, it will take a long time to get these big, colossal monsters to change their ideas.
I was talking to interviewed a company a few weeks ago where they are working with governments to distribute entitlements, pensions and all that sort of stuff. And they're doing it through the blockchain and not through traditional banks. And that's already happening around the world. And I think if you look back 20 years ago, people said, the internet's all very good, but it's far too complicated for the average person. The average person will never use the internet. Well, guess what? 20 years later...
Okay. I think that the mass adoption will take the next decade. I think that it's slow to get it all mass adopted, but when it gets there, then it will be fast. And I agree with you, in 20 years' time from now, the world will look very, very, very different.
Yeah.
Hard to say exactly how, but I guess that blockchain and cryptocurrencies will be the dominant in the banking sector, finance sector, insurance sector, shipping, like containers ship around the world. Maersk, which is a big shipping company in Denmark, they have put all the insurances on blockchain. So.
Yeah, it's certainly happening. Now, your crypto comes with the MessengerBank comes with a debit card. You just need that for day-to-day transactions when somebody. So you transfer the money from the sender's wallet to the receiver's wallet, which is connected to the debit card, so they can just use the card anywhere, right? Is that how it works?
That's how it works. It's a Club World Connect on steroids. I mean, it's the same system, very simple and very easy to use, and that's why we did it that way. We want simple, sustainable solutions.
So it's interesting. You've self-funded this whole project. So why did you make the decision to do that and not do an ICO or whatever to raise outside funds?
I thought about that to raise an ICO, but then again, we are bankers, and my 12 best friends are attorneys, and they said, this market is not regulated. Don't go out with an ICO. You think it's a utility coin. If you make an ICO, it's a security. Then you can't sell it there. You can't do this. You can't do that. So I said, well, I got a lot of money from my first company. Why can't I use a chunk of that to create the next one?
Right.
And don't go out and ask people for $5, right?
Will you have enough money to sustain the rapid growth of this worldwide?
If I don't have, let's say I burn $400 million the next 2 years, I will at that point be so successful that another couple of bankers wants to come in and join.
Sure.
I don't think that the success will kill me. I think I'll manage that. I'm a pretty good businessman, so I will find a way to sustain that too. But I guess I have enough money to carry it through.
Yeah, I guess the worst comes to worst, you just sell some of those Lamborghinis.
I don't drive Lamborghinis. I'm a really simple guy. I'm from Denmark. I like fishing. I drive ordinary cars. I don't play the fancy lifestyle. I'm 58 years old. My life is about family. It's about having a good time. It's about working hard. So the Ferraris and the Lamborghinis and all the young girls, that's for my son. He's 32. So let him play with that. I'm playing with my spouse and my Volvo. It can't be more boring than that.
You started out in the construction industry. So how did you go from construction to banking? Were you in the financing side of construction, or what is it that it's a big?
I was in real construction, but I realized quickly that the construction business is an optimist with a hard cap and rubber boots, and he always needs money. So I was looking at that, and I was thinking, okay, if I throw the boots away and the cap, and I just start to lend the money to do all these great ideas, I might make something too. And not only one project, I can do 100 projects a week.
Right.
That way. So I realized that very fast, that construction is really hard work, and you have to be incredibly successful, and you can have all kind of things going the wrong way.
Right. So where does MessengerBank go from here? What's your ultimate vision for MessengerBank?
Our next step is that we open our exchange, and after that we want to build a mobile payment app so that everybody who uses MessengerBank can also use it anywhere in the world where you can use mobile pay.
Right.
And I'm not going to build POS systems. I'm not going to do all that. I'm going to integrate it with all the existing mobile payment platforms like Apple Pay and Samsung Pay and Danske Bank Pay, and anybody who have a mobile payment system that we can integrate to. Can be Union Pay in China. That way, we don't spend a lot of money on developing this, and our clients have one app with mobile pay globally, which they wouldn't have if they only had Apple Pay or another payment system. So that's our next big step after the exchange is up and running. And that will be sometime late 2019, because I believe that Messenger Bank needs to have a debit card, a mobile payment platform, an exchange platform for all your cryptocurrencies, because you build your own little portfolio in Messenger Bank. So if you like 10 cryptocurrencies, you have them yourself. You sell them, you trade them, you do atomic swaps inside the Messenger Bank exchange, and that doesn't cost you anything. As long as you're in crypto, you can swap on my system with buy-sell orders for free as long as you want. We just want to help people so that it makes life easier for them.
What's the biggest challenge that you've had getting Messenger Bank to where it is now?
Security. Security issues on the blockchain, security issues on the exchange, security. Look at Binance and Coinbase and everybody else, Japanese exchanges. I mean, that's a nightmare. So for us, it's all about security. Again, we are banks, so we have to be careful. We don't want anybody to hack us and take our clients' money. So we have some really great inventions. One of the things is our wallet. When you sign in on Messenger Bank, you get a wallet, you get some coins, you get some Ethereum or whatever you want. You don't have the private key. We don't give that to you. We keep it in an offline server. That way, you can't get hacked. Your wallet is safe. And as long as you can remember your password and your login, not even your login, just your password and your email.
Right.
If you have your email, you don't lose anything. And the problem with the apps where they have the private keys on their cell phone can cause problems in the end. We will have the private keys on the cell phones when our exchange is fully open and fully secure. But until that time, we keep the private keys for people.
Yeah, that's good. Kent, thank you very much for being on the Bob Pritchard Radio Show on Voice America Business. Now, if you'd like to know more about Kent and Messenger Bank, go to messengerbank.io. That's messengerbank.io. Have a look. I think it's a great initiative. Kent's obviously very smart. It's doing very well. And so have a look. You're listening to the Bob Pritchard Radio Show on the Voice America Business Channel Network, and I'll be back with you after this short break.